Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving into a really fascinating collection of stories called The Nearest Stars. And what's so cool about it is that it uses the language of the cosmos, of astronomy, to map out human relationships. Trust me, the results are seriously mind-bending.
So let's just jump right in with a big question that gets to the absolute heart of this. I want you to think for a second. Do we really have enough words for love? For all the different kinds of connection in our lives? Or does it ever feel like you're trying to describe a brand new color, but you've only got the words red, yellow, and blue?
Well, that's exactly what this collection of stories argues. Our labels, romantic, platonic, family, they're like a tiny box of crayons trying to capture this vast, incredible rainbow of human connection. And they just don't cut it.
And this inadequacy, this is really the central problem the book digs into. It's about that deep, frustrating feeling when you have connections that your vocabulary just can't describe. It can even make you wonder if those feelings are, valid at all.
I mean, we all know these labels, right? Friendship, marriage, family. They're the big, socially approved containers we're supposed to fit our lives into. But life is so often much messier and way more beautifully complex than these neat little boxes allow for.
Okay, so here's where things get really, really interesting. The book offers this radical solution. Instead of trying to invent totally new words, it just borrows a whole new language from physics and astronomy. And it creates this powerful new lens for actually understanding human connection.
All right, let's start with a baseline we can all agree on. Friendship. We all know what this is. It's a familiar concept. But now, let's look at a concept from astronomy that's probably less familiar, but is every bit as powerful. Now get this, the book takes this incredible scientific principle and just applies it to people. The idea is that some people in our lives can act as a gravitational lens for us, bending the light in such a way that hidden parts of ourselves suddenly become visible for the very first time.
So let's see how this actually works. We're going to move to our first story, which focuses on two neighbors, Ada and Nina. So we meet Ada. She's deaf. And her full self, her witty, philosophical, brilliant self is expressed in American Sign Language. But it's become like a locked room inside her own home, because her partner, James, well, he stopped signing with her.
And then Nina moves in next door, and she is the catalyst. As a painter, her entire world is visual. She doesn't see Ada's deafness as something missing, but as a completely different, rich dimension of just perceiving the world.
And this quote, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? Nina starts learning ASL from Ada. And that effort alone becomes this ultimate message of validation. It's a profound way of saying, I see you, your world has value, and I will come to you.
So you see, Nina becomes Ada's gravitational lens. Her presence doesn't change who Ada is, not at all. Instead, it bends the light around her, amplifying her brilliance. It makes Ada's full self so visible that it actually inspires her partner James to start signing again, finally unlocking that room in their home. But this whole astronomical framework, it isn't just for these beautiful, straightforward friendships. No, it can also describe the messy, complicated reconfigurations of traditional things, like marriage.
So the book brings in another concept from astronomy, binary collapse. It's this powerful event where two stars orbiting each other actually exchange mass and create a totally new, more stable system. And this is used to describe what happens with two neighboring couples, the Hales and the Novaks.
So what was going on here? Well, you had these two couples, and they were fundamentally mismatched. In each marriage, you had a verbal, expressive partner, someone who talks things out, paired with a quiet, structural thinker, someone who processes the world through systems and logic. And this led to these deep incompatibilities where nobody really felt seen or understood.
It takes them a while, but eventually they see it. The more natural pairings are actually between the two verbal partners and the two structural thinkers. And that realization leads to this blunt but perfect assessment from Kirsten, who is a software engineer. We were misconfigured. So stark, but so true.
And here's the thing that's just so powerful about this story. This isn't a story of failure or betrayal. It's a story of a courageous, painful, restructuring that leads to so much more happiness and stability for everyone, all four adults and their kids. It's a true binary collapse into a better, more stable system.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a minute. The book makes this really important point that these unconventional connections are only even possible because of the community's core philosophy, an ethos really, that was established by one incredible woman, Beth Garrison. This quote, This is basically the town's unwritten constitution. It's this simple, powerful principle of compassionate non-interference. And it's what allows for all these complex, unconventional relationships to exist and thrive without judgment. It creates the very space for these stories to happen.
So when Beth is dying, it's not like the energy in their little universe is just disappearing. The book compares it to the heat death of the universe. It's not that. Instead, it's a transfer. The warmth, the wisdom, the principles she lived by, they get transferred into every single person she touched.
And that right there, that perfectly captures this idea of legacy. A person's impact doesn't just vanish, it transforms, and it fuels the entire system long after they're gone. Beth Garrison's energy didn't die, it just got redistributed, and now it powers the whole community.
And then we get this amazing final insight from the narrator. They reveal that telling these stories has changed them, and that the ultimate point isn't just about using clever metaphors, it's about truly paying attention, about observing the people in our own lives with this fierce, compassionate attention. Because to truly see someone, that's an act of love.
And so in the end, the book turns the telescope right back on us. It leaves us with this final, provocative question. All these incredible, complex connections, they're like stars burning brightly all around us. The nearest stars are right in front of you. The question is, are you looking?